Now, one of my staff, she was clinically dead for 2 minutes. She and her husband, they met with a terrible accident. Their car was totaled. And she and her husband were badly injured. Miraculously, her 1-year-old son did not had a single scratch on his body. That little boy was supernaturally protected. So when she died, she and her husband stood at the gates of heaven. Though she could see that her husband was standing by her side, she also knew at that moment that she can't answer for him and neither could he answer for her. They are both individuals. So they came and stood there, and there were many other people before her. And there was an angel, and he asked them one question. Have you loved the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind? First question. Second question, have you loved your neighbor as yourself? So there were many people who could not answer. The angel pointed his finger that way, sir. So they were all dragged to hell. Then she came and stood there. And the angel asked her the same question. Before she could say anything, the sins of her life were played out on video screens. Just like the video screens that you see here. Not just only on 2 sides, but 360 degrees all around that auditorium. She was looking at every one of them. They were all her unconfessed sins. The sins that have been confessed and forgiven, they will not be displayed anymore because hard disk is deleted. But those that you thought they were inconsequential, or those that you did not with all your heart repented, you just simply repented, but not with all your heart, then they all are displayed. So when she saw all that, this girl, she worked for me. She is the #1 miser in our ministry. She's the stingiest person. And all our staffs can vouch for that. She's so stingy, very arrogant, very proud. And it's so difficult for her to give a dime or even a penny to a poor person. She's that kind of a nature. And she fell on her face and she cried and she cried and she cried. And she asked God, Lord, give me one chance, one more chance. And behind the angel, on a huge, high and mighty throne, she saw the Lord Jesus Christ seated. But she could not see his face. She saw a glorious being seated. And she cried and she cried and she cried. And then came a thunder-like voice from the throne. Go back! The next moment, she opened her eyes. And the paramedics were working on her. And she had to go through many surgeries, she and her husband. And when she came out of the surgery and she was discharged from the hospital, instead of going home, she came straight to see me. And she fell at my feet and she cried and she cried and she cried. And repenting of all her many sins. And then she narrated this incident to me. And the most remarkable thing I saw in her life after that was she was a changed person. She became the most kindest, the most generous, and the most lovable person in our entire ministry. Whenever there is a lack, she'll be the first person to help. See, a life dramatically changed with one heavenly encounter. This is the fruit of a true encounter. Today, so many people have so many spiritual encounters, but their lives are not changed. Actually, their lives have been changed. Head puffed up. That is a change, right? Even the head puffing up with pride. It's also a change, negative change. So, you are not yours for you to live like yourselves. You are bought with a price. Therefore, the Bible tells us in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 7, And chapter 5 verse 23, it calls for holy living. You are called to live a holy lives.